Moving on to our NFL picks against the spread. It is week 8, and last week I made a bit of a comeback here to my percentages. I went 8-5 last week, bringing myself to a overall record of 67-54, 55% against the spread. How's it coming for you?
I also went 8-5, so I am now at 62-59. I did not calculate that is, but it's just above 500.
Probably right 50% and some change. Um, awesome. So I think the main theme from last week was the favorites keep rolling. They
Well,
went
not just that. There was only one possession game
right.
the entire week, and that was Bengals Jets. Every other game was multiple possessions, and yeah, you could argue the Bengals Jets had absolutely zero business being a one possession game.
That
So
was brutal.
yeah, it was a
Brutal.
pretty mediocre week of football.
Yeah, very chalky.
Yeah.
Favorites went 11-2 against the spread. The best winning percentage for favorites in a single week since December of 1985, and all 11 favorites of those who won covered by 7+ points. So as we get into our picks this week, I feel like this could be a trap week with all the
There are
favorites having
several,
won last week.
and there are
I'm
several
really
here
scared.
There are several here I just don't like at all. Yeah, this could be this could be a bad. This has a real good chance of being a bad week. I'll just say
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Well, let's get into it. Let's see what we got here. So Thursday night football, Ravens at the Dolphins. Um, is I think it's been confirmed Lamar is playing this week, so he will be
Yeah, we'll
playing.
just assume that.
Yeah, because
After last week's fiasco, we can't really trust
right.
everything you hear. So.
But yeah, I got lucky last week with that 6.5 point spread. Tuned in looked at the spreads later in the week and saw it drop to 1.5, and I said, "Oh, what's going on here?" And it turns out Tyler Huntley's the quarterback, so still got lucky. Got that win on the spread there. But Ravens Dolphins, this is to a spot, unfortunately, at home against a defense that I still think is suspect. Like
Improving but suspect. Yes.
look, I got lucky last week winning that
Mm-hmm.
spread. That was mostly on Caleb Williams not being efficient again in that Bears offense. Bears definitely have some issues on that side of the ball. Lamar is back, but he's going to be out of rhythm. He hasn't played for a few weeks and had a bit of a slow start anyway to start off the year before he got injured. And the team is also on a short week, so definitely something to factor in there. I would be more trusting in this Ravens team if Lamar had played last week coming into this game, but I think the line at 7.5, what I was seeing it at, is a little too much respect for this year's Ravens team, not adjusting to this year's squad. So I am going to go to at home 7.5 on the spread.
So yeah, that was by far to me the most shocking result of last week was the Dolphins at the Falcons. We'll get to the Falcons later, but yeah, Tua looked really good. Yeah, he threw 4 touchdowns and saved him and Mike McDaniel's job for a little bit longer. I agree with you. This is too much. I want to take Dolphins plus 7.5 as well. Dolphins have honestly been a pretty competent team at home this year. Yeah, they're 1-2, but they've averaged 27 points per game at home. And their 2 losses are to the Patriots and Chargers, who are towards the top of the AFC standings. And both of those games were very close. Came down to the end. Yeah, so 7.5. Yeah, that's just too much for a Dolphins team who plays well at home usually. And like you said, Lamar's coming back. So it might be a little off rhythm, but that leads us to take Dolphins plus 7.5. We're both in agreement. Moving on, your Cincinnati Bengals are hosting the Chicago Bears. 2 teams coming off disappointing losses, to say the least. Yeah, if you're a Bengals fan, you still got to be pleased with Flacco. Like, at least the offense is competent again. It's just, I don't even know if Burrow was out there. I don't think they'd be much better because Burrow doesn't play defense, and that whole thing's a train wreck. Bears offense was bad last week. I think this could be a good week for Ben Johnson to get Caleb Williams a little more back on track. So I will take the Bears at minus 2.5. I like Yeah, I like the Bears to bounce back here. Um, Honestly, yeah, they weren't great, but they moved the ball against Baltimore plenty well. They put up a lot of yards. They just sucked in the red zone. Uh, like if you, I don't know if you watched the end of that game, but yeah, they moved it right. Like that was one of the worst goal line uh, stretches of plays I've ever seen from an offense. So yeah, they moved the ball well. It's just bad in the red zone. So yeah, I like the Bears here at -2.5, mostly due to Cincinnati's poor defense.
Yeah, at 2.5, I do like the number under field goal. I will take the Bears in this situation. Plus, there's some uncertainty at QB. Flacco is day to day. Hendrickson is also day to day. So as far as a pass rush, which has been not existent anyway, with him out, they're not gonna. Caleb's gonna have plenty of time, but even then, Ben Johnson is likely to keep the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands for most of this game and really dominate on the ground. Bengals gave up 260 yards rushing to the Jets last week, so I think with Swift back there, they're gonna give him a number of chances in this game. I like the number under 3. I just think it. Last week was a brutal loss for the Bengals, and I think the more likely team to bounce back is the Bears in this situation. So
Yeah,
I will take minus two and a
one little
half.
note on that. Yeah, I was so when we made that pick for Jets Bengals last week, I actually picked the Jets, but that was under the assumption that Tyrod Taylor was playing. When they announced Fields was starting, I would have, I definitely would have not taken the Jets. But credit to Justin Fields, he played well in that game.
Vikings at the Lions. We got what was one of the best divisional games last season um, between these two squads. Looking like it's going to be J.J. McCarthy for the Minnesota Vikings at QB with Carson Wentz out for the year. In this situation, this is a 8.5 point spread in favor of Detroit. The last time I saw, look, when Goff has played the Vikings as the QB of the Lions, he's 8-0 against the spread. The best mark of any QB in the NFC North versus Minnesota in the last 20 years. Lions are also getting back Brian Branch in their secondary. Kirby Joseph and Terrion Arnold are back from injury. And along with this devastating pass rush, I'm going to hit on the favorite here, even at this big number. I don't trust JJ McCarthy having been sat out probably longer than what his injury was meant for him to sit out. I think
Yeah, they sacrificed Carson Wentz in order
yeah,
to not play JJ McCarthy.
yeah, yeah. So I'm going Lions here at home uh, on this big spread.
Yeah, and also the Lions are coming off of a bye week as well, so they're well rested. Big divisional game. JJ McCarthy has played 2 games and he's only looked good in one quarter, and that was the fourth quarter of the week 1 game against the Bears. Um, Even if Wentz was playing, I mean, this doesn't. I don't know if it matters who's playing because their pass protection has not been good. It is banged up, and it will still be banged up. And throwing I'm going to call him a rookie quarterback because he essentially is a
He
rookie
is.
quarterback. Throwing him under the bus like that at Detroit against Aiden Hutchinson, I don't like this at all for the Vikings. So I am in agreement at Lions -8.5. Moving over to another NFC North team, the Green Bay Packers are 12.5 point favorites against the Carolina Panthers. And I'm just going to say this: I'm 1-6 in Packers games this year, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. But I'm going to take the Packers because Carolina has been terrible against competent teams this year, and Green Bay is a competent team. They really played well against Pittsburgh last week. I think that was kind of a statement win because they've kind of, after their first 2 wins this year, they were kind of looking mediocre. Even in their wins, they just didn't really look impressive. But going into Pittsburgh and Jordan Love lighting up that Steelers defense, that was impressive. So, yeah, Green Bay at home, Carolina. I guess Bryce Young's playing. I don't think that matters, though, because even when he did play, they were bad against the Patriots, bad against, well, with Dalton, they were bad against the Bills. So, yeah, I don't like the Panthers here. So Packers -12.5.
Yep, I'm in agreement here. It could be Dalton, could be Young. I don't think it matters in this situation. The safe pick here is to go Green Bay at home. Under Matt LaFleur, the Packers are 31-6 straight up and 24-13 ATS at home against teams outside of their division. They seem to do pretty well against the Steelers last week, and I think the Panthers are a worse team than the Steelers. And so it's just, at home. We didn't get that Tomlin spot last week with that pick at home with the Steelers. So, yeah, I'm in agreement with the Packers here at this big spread. 12.5, minus 12.5. Chargers at the Titans. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Titans can't cover a spread until they prove otherwise. I will just spam pick against them. If the Titans somehow start playing like an actual team and cover, then so be it. But I'm not taking any chances with this team, especially if there is no Ridley on offense and no Simmons on defense. Yeah, give me the Chargers in this situation. It's a 10.5 point spread last time I saw, but I'll take the Chargers.
Chargers every now and then will find a way to charger and just not show up, play bad. It could happen here. I'm just going to guess that it's not. So I'm in agreement. I will take Chargers at minus 10.5. It's kind of sad because you do see glimpses of Cam. When you watch a whole Titans game, you do see glimpses of what Cam Ward can be every now and then. He's just in such an awful situation that it's going to hinder his development so much. So, yep, Chargers minus 10.5. Okay, this is one of these Falcons Patriots is a game that I hate. I don't know. I really don't know what to do with this game. Falcons are super inconsistent, as we've seen all year. They've beaten the Bills handily, they beat the Commanders handily, and then they put up absolute stinkers against the Panthers and we saw last week against the Dolphins. And they've usually, after they put up absolute stinkers, they come up and play much better the next week. Patriots have not played this. If the Falcons bring their A game, this is by far the best team the Patriots have played in several weeks. And they might be getting Michael Penix back and Drake London. They were playing with Kirk Cousins last week, so that did make things a little different for the Falcons. And they're without their wide receiver one. But the stat I look at is going back to last year. Their last 4 outdoor games, they have lost by an average of 19.5 points. And for that, I'm just going to go with the Patriots here. Patriots are just playing more consistently better. This could easily go the other way with what we've seen from the Falcons this year. And you could say the Patriots are due for a loss, which I'm also in agreement with. But I would just assume the safer pick's the Patriots. So that's what I want to go with. Patriots at home at minus 5.5.
Yeah, there's no confirmation on who the QB will be this week for Atlanta. And we don't know if Jesse Bates, their safety, will be back this week. If it's Cousins, yeah, I'll definitely pass and take the Pats. I'm going to go pass with you on this just because of the uncertainty. But check this out. Entering week 5, Drake May had 100-1 odds to win the NFL MVP. Entering week 9, he's down to 5-1. Just behind Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. May has 2,026 passing yards with a 75.2% completion percentage through 8 games. It's been a crazy run to start the year. We don't know if this will last, but with the schedule that it played out for them so far, it's been a good stretch for them. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you here with the Pats. 5.5 is not my favorite pick. Not going to bet it. But yeah, that's what my pick for this is. 49ers at the Giants. We got a couple of banged up squads in this one. Last week, the gruesome injury to Cam Scatterbo for the New York Giants, the ankle breaker. That was tough to watch. He was such a fun player to watch for the Giants, and already not having Malik Neighbors on this roster, Jackson Stark is still the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year entering this week. The number is at 2.5. It's a tough number. If this number gets to 3, I kind of want to take the Giants, but we might be getting Purdy this week for San Francisco, and playing this defense will feel like a cakewalk after having to go up against Houston last week. So I like the 2.5 number for San Francisco. I'll go with it, minus 2.5.
Yeah, I don't like this one very much either, but I'm actually in agreement with you again. Yeah, I will take 49ers at minus 2.5. Yeah, it's a cross-country noon or 1 o'clock trip for the 49ers. But I could, yeah, I see them bouncing back after a rough game, like you said, against Houston in a really good defense. Yeah, we really, I don't know when Brock Purdy's supposed to play again. I feel like every week we've talked about we don't know who's starting quarterback for the 49ers, but yeah, I don't really have much else to say. You pretty much said everything I was going to say. So 49ers at -2.5. Okay, Colts Steelers. This is another one that's some people think it's obvious. I don't. I'm so there are so many elements to this that favor both sides. There really is. So um, Aaron Rodgers has not been good against the Colts in his career. I believe he is 1-3. And the Steelers' run defense and defense in general has been terrible, and they're going against the number one offense in the league right now. So expect Jonathan Taylor to have a big day. But the Colts have only played one outdoor game all year so far, and that was Week 3 Tennessee, and it was perfect conditions. So it's probably going to be like 50, and I think it's going to be about 50 and windy in Pittsburgh. So that's going to be a new test. Colts have not won a game in Pittsburgh since Peyton Manning beat the Steelers in 2008. And I would classify Aaron Rodgers as a competent quarterback this year. It's amazing. I mean, I really think if you put him on like the 2000 Ravens or the Legion of Boom Seahawks, both those defenses just suck. Because for some reason Aaron Rodgers is just not allowed to have a good defense on his team. It's like how did the Steelers defense get inexplicably bad? Like
Highest paid
Rodgers,
defense.
yeah, like something about Rodgers just brings the defense down for some reason. But speaking of Rodgers, he's thrown Colts defense when they've played good quarterbacks like Bo Nix, Stafford, and Herbert, they've thrown all over them. So I expect Rodgers to do the same here. So I expect a high-scoring game. And we had the Mike Tomlin underdog thing that I just don't know. I don't see that not working 2 weeks in a row. That's statistically it's long odds. So I'm going to take the Steelers +3 here. Not like I said, there's factors on both sides that you can play around with this game, but I'm going to go with the Steelers as home underdogs here. And this is always the case when the Steelers are losing a bunch. They've lost 2 in a row. People are like, "Oh, it's finally falling apart." They find a way to pull one off, and every year it's inevitable. And yeah, so this could be one of those games.
So the Colts have scored 270 points with a +116 point differential through 8 games. Since the 1970 merger, here are the QBs to accomplish this feat: Daniel Jones, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and John Elway.
Okay, well, all Hall of Famers there.
Indiana Jones, I'm telling you. So last week we tried the Tomlin as a home dog rah-rah spot. It didn't work out for us. It may not work with the way this defense has been playing. Like the number at 3 is tough because it's like it's just that perfect number for this game. I don't expect the Colts to let up just because they're going on the road to Pittsburgh. But the bounce back time Mike Tomlin spot is a good one. Awful loss. Tomlin is 61-47 ATS as a coach of the Steelers, 25-15 as an underdog, 12-4 as a home dog off a straight up loss. It's just like you said, 2 weeks in a row, getting another home spot here. I'm going to risk it at +3, and hopefully the worst possible outcome is that they lose by 3 and it's a wash.
I'm still waiting for our first wash. We have neither one of us has had one yet this year.
Yeah. So we're gonna risk it there. All right, Broncos at the Texans. So first thing to talk about with this game is that there's 2 big injuries to look out for. Nico Collins, wide receiver for the Texans, who is questionable for this game, and then Patrick Surtain for the Broncos. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. So with Surtain out, if Collins plays, this could be a time for CJ to really get back to his groove at the QB position. The Broncos' home and road neutral splits show a very different team, especially on offense. At home, they're 4-0, 2-2 against the spread, plus 6.6 against the spread margin. Away or at a neutral site, they're 2-2 straight up, 1-3 against the spread, and 0 ATS margin. So the line has flipped from Houston being dogs to now favorites at 1.5. Last time I checked. Even still, I think this Texans team, they're still very undervalued because of the way they've performed offensively throughout this first half of the season. And if they do get Collins back, this is a no-brainer pick. But everyone loves Denver right now. It's a very public side, and I think this is a real letdown spot against a really good defense. I'm going to go Houston at home minus 1.5.
Okay, finally a disagreement, but it's not a confident disagreement because most of what you said is correct, and uh, there's a reason this has been a 1.5 point spread where it's flipped because this is a sneaky good game that's not really been
Really good
talked
game.
about enough. Yeah, because I've been on the Texans all year, so, like in my picks, saying they're a better team than what their record is. Like I'm saying, their defense has been good all year. Um, yeah, I think it's the total is gone to like 39. Like the under is a very popular bet here, and it makes perfect sense. Um, the Broncos have had occasional defensive lapses in their games. Like think of the Colts game; they did not play very well in that one, and
Giants.
the Giants game for 3 quarters they were not very good in that one either. But I feel like the Broncos offense is better than the Texans offense. I feel like both of these defenses, even with Surtain out, on a very similar level. So then if you compare the offenses, I would say Broncos is slightly better than Houston's at the moment. And with the Broncos as underdogs, I'll take them at plus 1.5. But yeah, this should just be an interesting defensive game that should be fun to watch if you're not into points. Okay, two teams coming off a bye week, the Jaguars at the Raiders. Last I saw, Jaguars were 3 point favorites, and
What is this line? What is the 3?
Jacksonville has shown just way more good moments than the Raiders this year. Now the Raiders should be getting Brock Bowers back, so that is good. That is good to have a reliable weapon for Geno to throw to. But I mean, what have the Raiders done this year since their Week 1 win against the Patriots? All they've done is beat the Titans at home. It's been ugly. Both teams, there's no benefit to the rest because the Jaguars will also have rest. So, yeah, giving the Jaguars here at -3. If the Jaguars don't cover, well, they can still win. But if somehow the Raiders win this, yeah, the Jaguars might need to do some serious looking in the mirror at themselves because this should be one coming off of a bye. They've had things to fix because they got last time we saw them they got destroyed in London, so they should come out hungry. And I like the Jaguars here.
Yeah, it's a fishy line. I would have this, a couple ticks higher than 3. So I'm definitely going Jaguars here. Kind of makes me scared that this is the ultimate trap game. Going to Vegas here, but Vegas just has not looked good at all. And I tried
They have
them
been
a couple weeks,
not thinking
few
about
weeks ago, but
they have been good at they've been decent at home. Like their losses at home have been close, so that might be a factor here as well. But still, you'd think it'd be like 4.5, 5.
yeah. Well, I'm going Jaguars -3
Yeah,
on that one.
in agreement.
Saints at the Rams. So it's reported that Tyler Shuck will get the start at QB, the rookie that they drafted this past offseason, the New Orleans Saints QB. We'll be getting a start over Spencer Rattler. Looks like the Rattler era is being shut down after an abysmal run.
It was an era.
It was an era. It was one of the eras. The line's sitting at 14.5. The one thing I'll say, the Rams, I don't trust the Rams to just blow out bad teams. It hasn't really been an MO for the McVay Stafford era. They never really have done that. They've kind of just done what they needed to do, win by, touchdown and a field goal. In the Rams' last 4 games off a full bye week, they are 0-4 against the spread, winning 2 outright but failing to cover the number. McVay is the only 0-4 ATS head coach off a bye since 2021. At 14.5, that is, that's over 2 touchdowns. It's the lowest number I can get to with the Saints team, and I'm going to hammer it now. in case this goes down with the new quarterback. I don't think it would, since he is a rookie, but I think it could be just a newfound boost, just to have somebody new under center for them. So yeah, I'll plus 14.5 with the Saints here.
So I'm a statistics guy. Last 10 weeks or last 10 games, Rams are 8-2 against the spread. Saints are 3-7. I'm gonna go Rams.
Right.
That's all there is to say. I do agree. Yeah, the Rams did destroy the Jaguars last time we saw them, but you are right. They don't really blow out too many teams.
Is Puka still out?
I think he's expected to return.
Okay.
That's what they said. That's what they said. That's what McVay said going into the Jaguars game, is they're hoping to get him right back after the bye. So
yeah. Okay. Let's get to the really good game for this week.
Yeah. So yeah, Chiefs at the Bills. This is an annual game because these two teams just keep winning their division, but actually that's in jeopardy for
Buffalo and Kansas City.
Exactly, yes. So they'll both be second, and they'll still play each other, I guess. So Bills have really been pretty good against Kansas City in the regular season over the past few years. I'm getting them as home underdogs at plus 1.5. Plus, they're going to have more rest than Kansas City. Kansas City is coming off Monday Night Football. Bills are coming off a bye week plus another bye week against Carolina, where they really didn't have to do too much. So I like the Bills as home dogs at plus 1.5. Should be a fantastic game. I think it's a nationally televised game, so everyone should tune in Sunday evening to that.
Just watch that one, then go right into Sunday Night Football. Chiefs are fully healthy, and they look like a totally different team with all their pieces back. After their slow start, I think they are getting a little undervalued still because of just how they've started off the season. And on the Bills side, Josh Allen just really hasn't been that good this season. I think they've done a lot of their damage just through their running game with James Cook.
Well, he had some really good handoffs to James Cook last week. So
yeah. Ed Oliver is out again, and the issues in the secondary against good passing teams is something to note here. I would feel anxious picking the Bills because I would only really be betting on Allen to be Superman, and just the way it's been going for him to start the season, I don't trust that it'll just happen for him. He doesn't have the weapons that I think Mahomes has. It's not really the spot to pick KC, and most of the trends will tell you that. But this number is, to me, priced wrong, and I think people haven't come around on this Chiefs team just yet. So I am going to take them to win this one, get this 1.5 point spread that they're sitting on right now. Yeah, should be the most entertaining game, as it always is. I can't wait to watch this one. Sunday Night Football, we got Seahawks at the Commanders. So it sounds like Jaden Daniels will be back for this game. I'm not taking the Commanders here. It is a 3.5 point spread. They are at home, but Seattle going east hasn't been so bad since 2018. The Seahawks are 17-8-2 ATS, playing on the Eastern time zone, covering the spread by 4.1 points per game. Under Mike McDonald, Seattle's 5-1 straight up, 4-1-1 ATS, playing on the East Coast. I already mentioned a couple weeks ago how the Seahawks are on, how they compare on the road versus at home. It's almost like having a road field advantage. It could be a trap game with the hook. I understand that. Jaden Daniels is back, but this Commanders rush defense is mediocre, and their pass defense is downright awful. So I think Sam Darnold should have a good chance of making a lot of plays here to win this game.
Yeah, so this should be the first game like we actually get most of the Commanders' offense intact with Daniels back. He can now throw to Terry McLaurin and guys like that. So yeah, this should be theoretically should be a good game, but I'm in agreement with you, and this just has to do with what you said. Seahawks have been good on the road, particularly going far east under Mike McDonald. So I like the Seahawks at -3.5 as well. The Monday Night Football, we have the Arizona Cardinals at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are 3-point favorites, and I will be taking the Cowboys. They are 2-0-1 at home this year, averaging 41.3 points per game. Yeah, they're just a completely different offense at home. I think they're going to try to wash the stink out from last week's dud against the Broncos, mostly offensively. We know their defense is bad, but their offense will play a lot better. And Arizona, I guess do we know if Kyler Murray's playing?
It looks like, yeah, he'll be back for this game.
Okay, so this should be a fun game because the Cowboys defense can't stop a parked car. And Kyler Murray I could see him easily going in there and lighting him up, but I think Dallas's offense is going to be lights out at home, and I think they'll cover this 3-point spread.
This is a Dak Prescott spot. He's dominated night games, 29-15-1 straight up, 26-18-1 against the spread. I also love this spot as well because Kyler Murray is playing. I actually prefer it when the Cardinals run out Brissett at QB because he just plays a little bit more efficiently and can actually see over his linemen to get those passes over the middle of the field, which is something Murray just can't do. Kyler Murray has started 6 career games off a full bye week. Arizona is just 1-5 straight up and against the spread in those 6 games, failing to cover the spread by 9.5 points. The only nugget that would go against me here is that Kyler Murray has never lost in Dallas, not in high school, not in college, and not in the pros. But I think this season, this Cowboys offense is just a whole nother animal. I think they can at least clear this 3-point spread, so I will be going with Dallas with you on this one.